Hello and welcome to CLMB's Cracked Knuckle Productions. My name is Chris, and this is Project Weyard. If you are new to the series, I enjoy dabbling in fantasy cartography and have been playing the Golden Sun games on and off for nearly 20 years. Once I am finished with this project, I plan on giving people access to a file that will include the finished map of Weyard. In my last video, Your Favorite Places and My Favorite Cities, I truly enjoyed reading over your comments and putting them into the video. For this third installment, I asked you to share with me some of your favorite dungeons in particular, and I'm looking forward to discussing these and my top 5 choices as well. So, without further ado, let's begin. Once again, Eldritch Drakes contributed saying that their favorite dungeon is the Craggy Peak Ruins from Dark Dawn, not only for its use of the blue and gold motifs scattered throughout, but also its incorporation of the 12 zodiac signs with various puzzles associated with each and every room. Overall, the area is neither too time-consuming nor difficult. And I agree. In my current playthrough, I really like the Gemini room and the twin statues, reminiscent of the Animos Inner Sanctum, as well as the Scorpio room, with the Knight and the Scorpion fighting. Brawler 1031 wrote in again and said that their favorite dungeons were the elemental rocks in the Lost Age, with Gaia Rock narrowly taking the cake with its inclusion of the boss, a sweet tune, and the dancing doll. As you say, what's not to love? Personally, I always thought it an interesting dungeon because you can simply go in swinging and likely lose. Or you can take your time and adjust all the mirrors, which end up weakening the dragon. Talking about dragons, Trilling Dragon wrote that their favorite dungeon would have to be the Mars Lighthouse. Not only were the puzzles engaging, but they enjoyed being able to play with all 8 party members as they worked together to change the course of the future and save the world from certain ruin. T-Sword wrote that their favorite locations were the lighthouses, with the Venus Lighthouse being their favorite, and Kolyma Forest being especially fun to explore. In the Lost Age, Shrine of the Sea God, both times, Kandorian Temple and Ayers Rock stood out as particular favorites in the early game, and Magma Rock was their favorite endgame dungeon for them. The Casual Nerd mentioned that they liked the combined dungeon of the Babby and Venus lighthouses, and it being the climax of the first game really made it stand out for them. Thank you all for sharing your favorite dungeons with me. And for those of you who weren't mentioned above, Neria, Apogee Islands is an incredible place. I might use some of your answers for the next video. Till then, let me share with you my choices for the top 5 dungeons from the games. Coming in at number 5 is Lumpa Fortress. Stronghold of Dodonpa, Master of Thieves, it would be wise to carefully consider your needs before one passes through the stout iron gates and trust to the law of hospitality in this most lawless of places. This completely optional dungeon gives the player an opportunity to try out one of the game's most obscure but incredibly powerful synergies as they sneak their way past numerous patrols and an army of guards. Beware of what lies around each corner as you make your way deeper into the heart of the fortress, for surprises are sure to be found. At number 4, Ayers Rock. Rising from the heart of the windswept desert in the center of Oceania is Ayers Rock. For those of Garo, it's long been thought by the people that it's this rock that is responsible for their Jupiter-aligned abilities. I have a love-hate relationship with this place, but more than that, I am fascinated by this dungeon. But first, story time. It was my first playthrough, and after several agonizing hours helplessly lost within the labyrinth of Ayers Rock, I thought I had finally made it. Hopping across the floating platforms, I made it to the last one. In front of me was this strange insignia upon the wall. I tried to walk forward, and nothing happened. I thought to myself, perhaps I need a special item, like the small jewel in Soul Sanctum, in order to open the passage. So I searched through my inventory and found nothing. I had somehow missed or misplaced one crucial item. So I ended up retreating and spent another few hours revisiting all the towns in the area and checked the selection of artifacts in one of the shops because, another long story short, in my first playthrough of Golden Sun, I remember restarting my game because I had sold the empty bottle needed to collect the Hermes water from the Mercury lighthouse, not knowing that I could have actually bought it back. Back to the main story. So with nothing in hand, I re-entered Ayers Rock once again and combed through every room looking for an ever-elusive key. Finally, I made it back to that last floating platform with nothing in hand. Defeated, I walked straight forward into the insignia, and the doors I had somehow missed opened. Ayers Rock seems to be a fairly divisive dungeon for most players, but even in my original playthrough, I was simply awestruck by just how massive the place is. The music added to the gravitas. It is a place that you can get lost in, and for some reason, that's why I like it. For the bronze, Unkol Ruins. Remnant of a lost age, when alchemy's power still waxed upon Weyard, this tower stands as a memorial to the remarkable accomplishments achieved by the ancient peoples of Unkol. Whether in great foresight or in their understanding of the changing times, it was these ancient Venus adepts who crafted the Trident as a means to keep the once and rightful king of the seas in check. Rumor has it that atop of the tower's summit, one of 3 prongs remain, waiting for someone with the old blood to reforge it, so it can once again open the way to the most ancient of lands. Now overgrown and crumbling back into the earth, the tower is fraught with folly for those who stand too proud and do not understand how to wield the power it offers. I love Unkol Ruins. In my last video, I mentioned that a number of people seem to have a particular affinity to a certain element. Mine has got to be Earth, and this dungeon does not disappoint. Though there are no bosses to speak of, I love the puzzles inside that utilize my favorite synergy of the game, sand. For the silver, I want to nominate 2 locations, Soul Sanctum and the Animos Inner Sanctum. In Weyard's realm, where legends twine, lay 2 sanctums of shadow and shine. The heart of Umbra, its secrets untold, the other bathed in radiant gold. So take heart, bearer of light, for shadows surrender to its rightful reign, and lay claim to the darkest domain. Those 7 threads, perfect and bright. Whereas Soul Sanctum provides a player with a place to learn the game mechanics, Animos Inner Sanctum is where you go to prove your mastery. I love the dichotomy of these 2 dungeons, and yet they are so very similar. Just before you are expelled from Soul Sanctum and begin your journey, you witness the release of the Djinn back into the world. Yet, upon your entrance into the Inner Sanctum, you must prove your worth by showing how these very Djinn now aid you in your quest to bring balance to the world by lighting the very lighthouses you set out once to protect. They are connected by more than the music alone. It's the journey that now lies between these 2 places of power that truly brings them together. For the gold, the Babi and Venus Lighthouse. Throughout the ages, humanity has long been captivated by the irresistible allure of the ancient days and the formidable and fabled powers they once held. Some, with intentions true, work to turn its allure into a beacon of hope anew. Yet, as fate would have it, for some, the allure of the past will pull them to their doom. It is here at the crossroads of history and the here and now, the collision of fates shapes the course of tomorrow. Having made it to this point, the stakes were high, and with the music pressing me on, I set forth. Not knowing what lay before me, I raced past the trail of carnage, through a tower built on ancient ruins and selfish ambition, to the summit, and prepared for the daunting fight to come. All I knew was that I had failed once before, and with each lighthouse lit, I was failing to complete the quest I had been sent on. I made it, and so I fought. For someone who never really played a JRPG of this caliber before, this place was simply amazing. Thank you all for sticking around. For the next video, I plan on discussing my favorite passages in the games and would love to hear from you which ones you like best as well. Once again, thank you all. And as always, happy world building and blessings.